I'm going to be really, really choosy with my words here because I do not want to offend anybody. But from what I've seen, right, it seems like having children is very, very, very frustrating. And it seems like having children is a lot of work. Hi, friend. Welcome back to the channel. As always, I like to come on my channel and talk about things that are really important to me. And whether or not I want to be child-free is one of those things that is super important to me. And it's actually something I think about a lot. As my clock is ticking, as some people like to say, I think about it a lot. And at the end of this video, I want everybody that has children, doesn't have children, wants to have children, even if you're like 18 years old and you're considering not having children, or you don't want to have children, or you've made up your mind and said, you know what, I'm young, but I don't want children, please leave a comment and tell me your thoughts on this issue, because I'm having a very hard time with it. I know it's kind of silly to ask strangers for help on such a big decision on this topic, but it's really important to me, and I really want to know other people's thoughts and opinions. As always, I want to give you a little bit of backstory as to how I ended up in this position in the first place, where I'm in the middle of deciding whether or not I want children or not have children. Ever since I was like 13 years old, I wanted children. My mom was a very like traditional mother. She worked too, but most of the time she was like taking care of the house, doing like cleaning up, taking care of my father, taking care of her kids and stuff like that. So because of her, I wanted to also be a mother. And I was one of those people, because I think this is because I was Catholic, but I was one of those people that was like, I was meant to be a mother. I was put on this earth to be a mother, right? And I want to be a mother. I was meant to be a mother because I felt like I was like caring, empathetic. I had a very like motherly vibe. Again, I had a timeline of what I wanted to do. I was like, when at 20 years old, I'm gonna graduate from college. At 25, I'm gonna be married. By the time I was 30, you guys, I'm 33 now. I told myself that by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna have 2 children. I mapped this stuff out in my head. I said I wanted 2 children by the time I'm 30 years old. I'm 33, 0 children, okay? So it just kind of tells you that you can't really map out your life that specifically, because chances are that's not gonna really happen, right? The thing about it too is like my mother had me at 25. I was actually her last child, and she was 25. My mom had her first kid at 20, and my mother had her last kid at 25. It's like, it's okay. Like my mom had her last kid at 25. I can have 2 kids by 30. It's not a big deal. Another thing that kind of put me in this position of wanting children so badly is because everybody around me when I graduated from high school was having children. At least it seemed like everybody was having children. Everybody was getting married and having children. I was like, I want that too. I want to be married and have a child too. It's kind of interesting how you can get easily influenced by these huge life decisions, not knowing what you're really, really getting into. My ex and I were so like tight about having children that we named our children. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I'm sure like whenever you meet somebody that you really, really want to be with and you're in love with, you start to envision life with them, and you start to envision having children with them. I even went on those silly websites where I put a picture of me and my ex-husband together just to see what our children would look like, and our children was super cute, I must say. We both wanted 2 kids, a boy and a girl, of course, just to get it out of the way. We didn't want like a bunch of children. We just wanted 2 at most. I was in this headspace where I was like, I'm just gonna trick him into having 3, just to have 3. Mind you, now that I'm looking back, I'm like, 3 kids would have been way too much, right? Also, when I was younger, I actually wanted 5 kids because 5 is like my lucky number. I wanted 5 kids. But again, now that I'm thinking about it, 5 kids is a lot of children. That's a lot of children. That's just my opinion. If you have more than 5 kids, kudos to you. I'm just saying 5 kids right now would be way too much. And of course, now that we're divorced, of course, we're not gonna have children together. So sometimes, to be honest, I mourn those kids I never had with him because I really wanted those children with him because I felt like he would have made a really good father. And sometimes I get really sad when I think about the fact that we'll never have children together. And yeah, so that kind of sucks. One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this was that a couple of years ago, I think I was like 27, I went to the gynecologist, and the gynecologist told me about having children. And I told her, I'm like, how long do I have? Like, what can I worry about? What should I start doing to have children? She said, you're still relatively young, so I wouldn't worry so much about having children now, but start worrying between the ages of 35 and 38. Like 35, really start thinking about it. 38, chances are you might not have healthy kids. That's what she's saying. So that really, at 27, I was like, oh, I have plenty of time. We're going to have children anyway. It's fine. But now that I'm 33, right, I'm thinking, do I want children? Do I want children or not? At some point, having children was super important to me. But now the reason why I'm so conflicted is because child-free life, it doesn't seem so bad, right? I applaud anybody that wants to bring children into this world. But it sounds and it looks to me like a very frustrating experience for many, many people. I have friends who are struggling to get pregnant. I have friends who have a million children, right? I have friends who are on a fertility journey. I have friends who don't want children at all. And it's one of those things where it's like, right now, I really, really do love my life. I like being child-free, right? And I just don't know if I either want to remain child-free or have a child in the future. But I just keep thinking about it. And then I'm thinking about, what are the benefits of having children? Like, what are the true benefits of having children, right? So the benefits would be, you get to raise a child and bring them into this world. And hopefully you raise a kind, beautiful human being. And you could even raise like the next president of the United States, or the next, I don't know, whatever, of a country, whatever. Or you can raise the next Beyonce, right? That's also a thing. People shouldn't have children based on what you hope they'll be. You should just have children because you really want them and you want to raise good children. And then those are all great things, right? Those are all great things. You want to raise kind humans. You want to raise people that will do good in society. You want to raise the next generation of people that will probably change the world. That's amazing. And then I think about the other side of it. They're not so benefits of having children. I'm going to be really, really choosy with my words here because I do not want to offend anybody. But from what I've seen, right, it seems like having children is very, very, very frustrating. And it seems like having children is a lot of work. And am I willing to give up my freedom, my lifestyle, my ability to just get up and go, my ability to just travel, my ability to just do whatever I want, whenever I want, in order to bring a child into this world? Like, for me, is that worth it? That's something that I think about often. Is it worth it to do that? Again, I love children. I love them. This isn't to hate on children. This isn't to say children suck, because they don't. They're sweet. They're innocent, they're innocent little people. But what really are the benefits of having them if it means it's going to be costly, if it's going to stress me out? Because I see what a lot of mothers go through, and I don't know. The child-free life sounds glorious. Something else I really struggle with is, am I going to regret not having children? Will I ponder the thought or the yearning of having a child for the rest of my life when I'm 38 and I'm thinking, oh, man, I wish I had children, And am I going to do that? Am I going to regret it? But another big fear of mine is, will I regret my children? I know that a lot of parents will never say this out loud. You'll never say that you regret your children, but I know some parents out there regret their children, and it's very hard to talk about. And because you don't want to seem like you're evil for regretting your kids, you don't want to seem like you're a monster for regretting your kids, but there is a level of resentment and a level of regret there that I've seen in just the way some parents raise their children. You can tell that they freaking regret it, and they were influenced by people to have children when they weren't ready financially, emotionally, stability wise, or whatever. I know that there are options out there for me when it comes to having children. My options are like adoption, freezing my eggs. I just feel like if it gets to a point where I have to adopt, and if I have to like feel like I have to freeze my eggs and stuff like that, like I would just look at it as like that's not meant to be, right? Like I'm not meant to have children. So that's it. Another, like, my conclusion is, again, tell me your thoughts. My conclusion is that I want a husband first, right? We can get into the topic of whether or not I want to get married again in another video, but I do want a lifetime partner. I do want a husband, or, you know, something like a husband. It doesn't have to be a husband, but I do want a lifetime partner. And I want to have a child with somebody that is stable, financially supportive, emotionally supportive. Because I would rather have my child grow up in a loving, kind home than not that, you know? And if I'm like 55 years old and I just meet the love of my life, I can't have children by then. So I'd rather have my partner, my romantic partner, at that point than have children. Does that make sense? It's like a trade-off, right? It's like, would you rather have a child with somebody that you don't really want to be with, you don't really love, or would you rather wait and possibly gamble a future where you are too old to have children, but at least you'll have a really loving and a beautiful partner, and life will be great either way. That's what I struggle with. So at this moment, like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Should I just wait until I hope? In my dream scenario, I meet my husband tomorrow, we get married, I get pregnant right away, and then I can have children. But life hasn't been that way for me. So I don't even know if I'm able to do that. For child-free people that have chosen not to have children, do you regret it now? Do you not regret it? Do you love your life? Do you get jealous of people that have children and you don't have it? For people that do have children, I know you can't tell me, what do you like about being a parent? You know, what's your favorite part of being a parent? Did you, be honest, did you feel like you had to have children because of you were influenced? Or did you really want to have children? For those of you who are wondering how I went 5 years without getting pregnant, we did use birth control because we weren't ready to have children until we were stable enough to have children. So that's how I ended up not getting pregnant. I can leave the information of the birth control I use in the description below. It's not sponsored, so it's not a big deal. This video is not sponsored at all. To kind of close this off, my point is, I like my life. I like things are right now. Should I just maybe enjoy the fact that I'm child-free right now and then not worry so much about having children in the future? And if I'm meant to have children, I will have children? Or should I really start worrying about whether or not I should have children now? So I don't know. I don't know, guys. Again, this was a really, 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 really important topic, and I want everybody to just tell me their thoughts. Hopefully I made my thoughts clear. If not, I'm sure you guys will correct me in the comments. And thank you so much again for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you again for the big support. I hope you guys are all having a great new year, and I will see you guys in the next video.